Oh, yes. What, when you need to be scared, Joey, is when I tell you I hear you humming. One of these days, I'm going to get a haircut. I promise you, it's killing me. But since we're doing the Wolfman Jack thing, it is what it is. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is the 142nd episode. Yeah, that's right. The 142nd episode of the Political Spotlight. I am your host, Kristopher H. Bilbrey. It's great to be here with you. It's great to be with you all. I am coming to you live from the Bilbrey Plantation, the Bilbrey Ranch. And I just want to give you guys a brief, you saw it coming in, but here's the thumbnail. We obviously have this episode, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be titled Sheriff Sproles versus the World and Other Odd Happenings. I saw this as I was sitting in the meeting today. Oops, that was me. That was you. There we go. I saw this as I was sitting in the estate, if you will. Yes. I saw this as I was sitting in the meeting today. I knew I had a picture of Sproles doing this, like showing both of us. This is so much different than being at home in the studio. I don't really know where camera left and camera right is because it's like backwards. I hate this. But I knew I had one with Sproles like spreading his arms out. And I thought, man, that's the perfect picture. That's the absolute perfect picture for Sproles versus the world and other odd happenings. And I don't know that I think you're right there. You're right there, Alva. That's not a phrase that I use a lot. I do feel like I am someone that likes to use common phrases frequently. And I just got to tell you guys, I've recently went back. I've been trying to make some shorts out of the last couple of maybe last 5 or 6 videos. And I was listening to one of the last night or 2 nights ago, the show, and I'm like, what is that noise? It finally dawned on me. I don't know that you're going to be able to see it. I'm not going to move the camera. Do you see? Hey, move. Take down the banner, the Joey banner, real quick. So for all of you, I have you basically. I'll take a picture and tomorrow night we'll show you what you guys are propped on. So generally when I'm at the Lighthouse Studio, it used to be Ink Barrel Studios, and deep inside have House 57, I have like actually professional gear set up. A camera, it's hooked into the soundboard. I've got a microphone. It all goes into the sound equipment. That all goes into a compressor. It all goes into the computer. And you guys get to see me and hear me, and everything's wonderful. While I'm here, I'm doing this kind of old school, while I'm basically doing it with a cell phone attached on a candle, like a candelabra. Basically, it's a candle holder that has 3 candlestick places, and you guys are resting on that. Well, off of the bottom of the candle are these little crystals that are about that long, and you can kind of just barely see it right there. Well, when I shake the table, they rock back and forth, and it makes that dink, 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 dink sound. And so I'm going to try to not touch the table tonight. So that's why you guys are kind of in a weird angle, and the camera's kind of tipped up, and I'm back because I want to make sure that that noise does not happen. I apologize. I hate when we have audio issues. I am an audio guy. I don't care about video, but I don't like for there to be audio issues. So I apologize for that. All right. Well, welcome. Sorry about that nonsense. I can cut all of that out. I shouldn't have even said any of that. Well, thank you for being here. Welcome. If you're here and watching on YouTube, please do us a favor and hit the like button. The like button looks like a thumb. You guys know what that is. I like the dink, dink, dink sound. Okay, well, that's that's nice. I heard somebody the other day say, they wrote, it sounds like a watch alarm is going off. Dink, 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 dink. I was like, what are they talking about? But I went back and Mom said it sounds like a dog with a bell running around, or a dog that's lapping the water and their collar's hitting the metal bowl. It could be any number of those things. Well, like this episode, I promise we're not going to be talking about this nonsense all night. We are going to get into some heavy politics and craziness. So tonight we're going to be talking about, it's going to be really Henry County specific. So for those of you from Henry County, do all of these things right here. Hit the bell, hit the like button. If you're watching live, please comment over in the live comment box over here. If you're watching this on repeat, please comment in the comment box down here. We will get back to you. We live in the comments, I promise. And for all of you that are watching, no matter where you're watching from, please do us a favor, share the show with everyone you know. That's most important. Okay. Last night, I was right in the middle of talking to you all and reading the article about the big ordeal with Rust and the Indiana Secretary of State. And we had a little bit of a surge and everything went off and I was gone. Kate jumped in. She finished the article off perfectly. Obviously, she didn't know what I was going to add commentary-wise, but there was nothing really that we could do. So that was what it was, but that's great teamwork. That's why Kate is wonderful. Brandon's wonderful. We all are just able to feed off one another, and if something happens, the other ones pick right up. So I appreciate Kate for doing what she's doing. While I've been here at the Bilbrey estate and out of the Lighthouse studio, she's really picked up a lot of work and doing a lot of extra stuff. So I really want to give her a shout out and say thank you to her for everything. Happy Valentine's Day to everybody. We're going to talk about a love story tonight. This is, of course, a love story, not between an elected official and his people, but it's a love story between an elected official and himself. Of course, we're talking about the Sheriff of Henry County, Indiana, John M. Sproles. He loves himself ahead of anyone else. Like there is nobody else that I can say that he loves more than himself. That's our sheriff, all right? And he is just somebody that is very, I know right now that saying narcissism and everyone's narcissistic, that's kind of like a buzzword, but it's really true. When you look at John Sproles, he fits that absolute classic definition of a narcissist. And Kate is here with some information.
not really some information, commentary on your comment about Sproles loving himself.
Mm-hmm.
Because you say that, and the first thing that goes to my head is the designated shitter in Iraq.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, right. Absolutely.
Business.
Well, and I tell you, well, and
my husband's over here, the Jack Shack.
Yeah, right. And I'm telling you, hey, no, come back here. We'll talk about that here in just a bit because I've got some information. Yeah, well, I've got some information about Sproles that might be interesting. I've got a new name for him that we might all use here coming up.
So I get to put up a new banner with a new name?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. We'll see. It'll take a minute to get there. But before we get there, I do want to ask you a couple things, just some housekeeping things, because I didn't talk to you ahead of time. While I'm getting ready to talk here in a minute and go into a little bit of a monologue, can you try and go to YouTube or go to my post from earlier from the Henry County Commissioners meeting and get that ready to share? You don't got to share it now, but can you just get it ready to share? And I might have to walk you through where we need to go with it. But that's I forgot to mention that to you earlier. And right when we went live, and I'm like thinking,
the Jack Shack comment.
Yeah, right. I'm like thinking, crap, how are we going to get this? I can't play this from here. So yeah, I'm glad you popped up to tell us that.
Jack and John are kind of interchangeable names.
Right. Absolutely. That's comical.
Is that it?
Yes, thank you very much.
I'll get that
yeah, just basically the things that we'll need to share are the Henry County Commissioners meeting. We might need to look at the council meeting just a little bit, and then at the end it will be the Muncie City Board of Works meeting, and that'll be on Facebook, but that'll be towards the end. Okay, so tonight's episode is going to be very Henry County centric. We're going to be leaning towards Henry County a lot. At the end of this episode, towards the end, we're going to be talking about the Muncie Board of Works meeting and the Mayor of Muncie's community update that they did this morning. But that will be at the end of the episode. So basically, I want to let you guys know kind of how today came about. I have a hard time keeping track of when the Henry County Commissioners and Council meet. Okay. And sometime this evening, you need to remind me what it is I was supposed to remind you of because I forgot. And I think I know what you're talking about. And I'm going to write that down right here to remind you, but I got to think about what it is that I'm going to remind you to remind me. So I'm going to write Alva, remind, and a question mark. And I will get back to that. Thank you. So last night, I had a citizen contact me and tell me that the commissioners meeting was today. Well, the reason I have a hard time keeping track of the Henry County Commissioners meetings and the council meetings are because Delaware County, Randolph County, Madison County, their meetings are generally all pretty simple. First Monday, third Monday, 9 a.m. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. The Muncie City Council meetings are the first Monday of the month. Winchester is the first and third. It's normally just the third now. It is very strange. Madison County has a council meeting on Tuesdays. Delaware County has council meeting on Tuesdays. Henry County, however, they have meetings all the time. They have 2 meetings a month, commissioner meetings. They have 1 council meeting a month, but then they have what's called work sessions frequently, where they meet and work for hours during the daytime. And they live stream these and people attend. And so I kind of get out of a habit of knowing what's a work session and what's an actual council meeting. They also move the meetings frequently. Sometimes they're at 10, sometimes they're at 11, sometimes there's meetings at 2, sometimes there's meetings at 4. The council meetings used to be at 6, then they moved them to 5, then they moved them to 4. It's all over the place. Now, if it works for the people down there, that's fine. I've got to say, anytime I've been to Henry County meetings, I got to be honest, there's always been a large amount of people there. There could always be more. There should be more. And I'm sure that when they have them is not the ideal time. I wish, like everywhere else, they would have these meetings after the first shift period is over. So sometime between 5:30 would be the most earliest I would want them to have it. But I don't really like that. I would really say 6, 6:30, 7, somewhere between there. A start time no later than 7:30. So somewhere right around in there. Okay. So that's when they should be. But right now it seems to be working for the people. So it is what it is. That's between them. Okay. Who likes working a swing shift? Yeah. Right. So I was told that there would be a meeting today, and I was told that I would probably it would probably behoove me to be there, but I was not told why. So I thought, okay, I'm your Huckleberry. I'll go down there. I'm cool with that. So, of course, my grandfather and I have been going out and getting breakfast each morning, doing all that stuff. We had to kind of cut that short today. We did the whole Mickey D's thing. And then I got ready, and about 15 after, I decided to go to Henry County. And I left my location and was driving south on 3. And I want to tell you guys, for those of you that are not here, that are not in Indiana, that don't know Delaware County and Henry County. Henry County is directly south of Delaware County. From Muncie, it takes me roughly 25 or 30 minutes to get to downtown Newcastle, just on a normal day with no issues. So I was on the phone. I was talking. It wasn't no big deal. I was just driving. State Road 3 is a 60-mile-an-hour road. The speed limit all down through State Road 3 is 60 miles an hour. Now, in the state of Indiana, your speed limit is set at 60. I'm going to kick back to when I was a police officer. I didn't spend a whole lot of time in patrol. I did a lot of stuff as a plainclothes investigator, either as a suit and tie khakis investigator or as a plainclothes narcotics officer. So I didn't spend much time in uniform like that. But when I would work uniform, I always had a rule. I didn't really like tickets. It didn't make sense to pull somebody over and give them a ticket. I could pull somebody over for speeding. I could talk to them, and I could send them on their way with no ticket, and they would not leave pissed off. I would leave okay, and we're still doing the same thing. You're slowing the person down. It is what it is. However, a standard operating procedure for myself and for literally every other police officer that I knew was on highway driving, okay, state road, interstate. You could do 10 miles over the speed limit. So if it's 55, you could easily do 65 and be okay. If it was 60, you could easily do 70 and you would be okay. Now, because I worked narcotics and, various other things, sometimes we would do investigative stops. If you were doing 10 miles over the speed limit, there might be a time I would pull you over. But I did not give tickets for 10 miles over the speed limit. I didn't give tickets for 5 miles over the speed limit. Now, let me tell you, if I pulled you over and you were an asshole, I'd write you a ticket. I mean, if you deserved it because you were being an asshole, I would write you a ticket for a mile over if I needed to. That's kind of how that is. you know, play stupid games, win stupid prizes type of thing. Okay. But I generally didn't like to do that. And I was always cool with the people I pulled over because I didn't care about, you know, that wasn't my thing. All right. I don't know many cops that would pull people over and ticket them for 10 or less over the speed limit. In my world, if you were going 11 or 12 miles over or 13 miles, depending on your attitude, you may or may not get a ticket. 15 miles over was my threshold. Meaning, if you were in a 55 and you were going 70, then you might get a ticket. You wouldn't always get a ticket, but it could be a likelihood. Okay. So 15 over was my, all right, probably you might get a ticket at 15 over. I get pulled over, and I'm pulled over by Henry County Deputy 3318. He's a newbie, okay? A new guy, new deputy, hired by Sproles. Here's the ticket that you see, okay? And I was pulled over for 70 in a 60, okay? When I knew he was pulling me over before he even pulled me over, okay? Oh no, Elvante. It was not a trooper. It was a county brownie. And it was Guffey. It was I think it's Mike Guffey. It's not the jailer. It's not the jail commander. It's 3318. Mike Guffey, I think, is his name. I've been told that he is a major. I have been told that he's a major Sproles fan. So I see him turn around well long before he pulls me over. Like, I passed him, and then I drove way down the road before he actually then caught up to me. And as soon as I see him barreling, the person I'm talking to, hands-free, mind you, I say, "Oh, I'm getting pulled over." And the person immediately starts freaking out. I'm like, just listen to this. We'll see what happens here. Guy gets out. He walks up. I've got my my information for him. All right. It is what it is. He walks away from me. Okay. And yeah, right. He walks away from me, and then he walks back up with my ID and the registration and the ticket. And he says, no, it wasn't Stacy. It's not Stacy Guffey. I know Stacy Guffey, and Stacy Guffey's the jail commander. It's a new Guffey. This is a new guy. He walks back up and says, "You know the routine. You know the routine." No, I know I do, but I want to hear you perform it for me. So he's like, "If you want to contest this, blah, 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 whatever." You know, he was nice enough. Now, let me tell you. I don't think so. Guffey is a very common name in Henry County. I guarantee you that this man got a steak dinner tonight. He'll be up for promotion. But they were high-fiving this dude. He got back there. And they probably all were like smacking him on the butt and smacking him, high-fiving him. He probably got to go 10:42 for the day. That's going, he probably got to leave. They're like, "Okay, we'll cover the rest of your shift, buddy. You have off. Listen, as soon as I got pulled over, everybody and their brother that works down there in either fire service or police service, either in small towns or Newcastle, various people, I start getting all these calls and text messages. Did you get pulled over? Do you need us to send help? Are they going to kill you? Are they going to take you to they going to take you to jail? What's going to happen? What's going on? And I'm like, I don't know. You know, if you don't hear back from me in a while, send help. He's on his way to being a road captain. He's been on for a year. Well, that's just like Sproles. You know, Sproles has only been there for, 3.5, 4 years, and he's sheriff. So I'm certain that Johnny's like, hey, Captain, what are you doing? Old Captain Guffey here. Captain Guffey got Bilbrey. Now, had he been able to actually arrest me and take me in, I don't know. He would have gotten a raise. He would. The sky would have been the limit, basically. But it was just a ticket. So, nevertheless, you can't say that I was not excited to get to this commissioner meeting. I was excited to get there. I wanted to see what was going on. I really, yeah, right. Did he smell marijuana? And he needed to search the vehicle. Oh man, I would have loved it if he had been like, can I search your vehicle? That would have been fantastic. I wanted to crack the window down this far and say, I'm traveling, sir. Can I get your driver's license? No, excuse me, I'm traveling. I'm a free man in a free land. I'm attempting to fish with my gun. I can fish with my gun. Leave me alone. I'm just attempting to fish with my gun. Deputy of the month coming up. He's going to get a park right up in front. Absolutely amazing, folks. Absolutely amazing. They would have put a statue of him at the jail if he arrested you. Yes, right. Oh my gosh. So that was a fun time today. Hey, listen, farm use. This is a farm use, a Mazda CX-5 farm use. That's hilarious. Okay,
you're going to have to go back and read all of these comments because our audience is the greatest.
I know it's
snarky mood tonight, man.
Yeah, right. Sproles, you do it to yourself, buddy. So that's not even the exciting part. Like seriously, this was just like, like the icing on the cake. So I get to the wait, go back to the road warrior there. I want to say this. What? Thank God you didn't get more. We can be here all night. Woo! Hey, I got to say, in all seriousness, I was the wrong color for that. So, I've just got to say, thank God that the sheriff didn't come out to the traffic stop in his sweatpants and his campaign hat. Now, for those of you that do not know what I'm referring to, I do have to speak very seriously for a moment and say, here recently in the last day or so, or last 2 or 3 days, there was a really serious issue. Yeah, right, Joey. There was a real serious issue in Newcastle. And so for those of you that do not know, Newcastle is the county seat of Henry County. So Henry County is like the box, and Henry County, or Newcastle, is like the little, the county seat inside of the county. Newcastle has its own city police department. They are fully operational. They have police officers, patrolmen. They've got detectives. They run the whole gamut. Okay. They received a call of a possible DOA in a ditch. Hey, thank you very much, Admiral Eric, to help with those legal driving expenses. Thank you for the $10. Thank you. I love it. Thank you very much, sir, for the donation there. So El Ponte. You know what? I was lucky because I didn't have my caddis patch in the back car. Had I had the caddis patch, I would be dead right now. So thank God. Listen, it's all fun and games because we're all here and able to joke about this. I'm just lucky that something stupid hasn't happened. So thank God about that. And the thing is, we're trying to make light of a very serious situation. This man is an insane person. He is absolutely insane. He is not, in my opinion, safe to be leading the sheriff's department. He should not be leading the sheriff's department. And we're going to get to another story here in a moment where I was talking to someone today and I said, hey, I'm trying to save Henry County from themselves because there's a chance that this election, Henry County could make Sproles stronger, okay? Could actually make Sproles stronger. And we'll talk about that because we don't want to do that. We want to do the opposite. We actually want to make him weaker. We want to take some of that power or the perceived power away from him. And we're going to get into that here in a minute. But I joke about him showing up to the scene in his sweatpants and a campaign hat, or his boxers and some aviator glasses or whatever, because there was a very serious call in the last couple days of a deceased person being found in the ditch of a yard inside the city limits of Newcastle, which means the Newcastle City Police Department is going to respond. I'm sure that medical personnel would be responding. I'm sure that their investigators would be responding. John Sproles, the sheriff, who's supposed to be monitoring the jail and not hurting people, kidnapping people, sexually assaulting people in the jail. He's supposed to be monitoring the jail and making sure people are safe in there, and then protecting the outlying areas of the county. He jumped the call. He gets on and says, mark me en route, or, 33-1, show me en route to the DOA. The 10-0 is what it's called on the radio. And he gets to the scene. Stand by. Listen to me all. He gets to the scene in sweatpants and a sheriff's jacket. John Sproles, your sheriff of Henry County, went to a very intense scene in sweatpants and a police jacket. Now, that was during the day. I was working. One of you watching actually messaged me and told me about this call. One of you said, hey, Sproles is on his way to a call, and just wanted to let you know. And so I reached out to some folks I know, monitored, and found out what was going. And the chief deputy coroner was en route, and Newcastle was en route. So I really didn't understand why the sheriff was going. But now to find out that the sheriff got out to that scene in sweatpants and a police jacket completely blows my mind. The question here is, who is impersonating a police officer? To be perfectly honest, I think John Sproles is dressing up cop more than any other person I know. All right. Why wasn't he on duty in regular uniform, in khakis, in dress clothing? Why was he in sweatpants and a jacket? I have to try to work this backwards and figure this out. Why, in the middle of the day, in the middle of an administrative shift, is the sheriff wearing sweatpants and a police jacket? That sounds like, you know, like the Make-A-Wish kids do that. Why would Sproles be doing that? Oh, you're too kind, Catherine. You do not need to give us donations, but I appreciate it as always, and thank you tremendously, as I thank each and every one of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, we had a comment up a moment ago that said that they've been hearing a lot of people from the sheriff's department that is pulling over cars in city in city limits. Now, they can absolutely do that. Okay, they legally can do that, and that's okay. You know, they can do that. But the thing is, like, you don't have that many deputies. You guys need to be working out where you're supposed to be. You've got people. Karen, colder out. Otherwise, he'd wear shorts. Thank you. That is the comment of the day. I don't think so. I've asked everyone that I've asked has said that it was a city. It was city call. I'll have to check into that, Ryan, but I will see. I'll see if, you know, I appreciate you pointing that out. Maybe there were 2 dead bodies. Who knows? I don't know. It's Henry County. Seems to be happening more and more and more. So, you know, I don't know. We call that 927D, and no cover wants to deal with that shit if they're not assigned to that. No kidding, John. Right, bro? Listen to me. I'm telling you right now. Listen to me. I was a police officer, man. You're not wanting to jump a DOA. You're not wanting to jump a 10-0 here. If you need to. Now, here's what people don't know. Well, we're going to get to that in just 1 second. Yes, there's a major issue for you that live in the county. You need to be worried about this, and we're going to talk about that in just a moment. But that's the thing, man. You're not just jumping dead body calls. But what people might not know about Sproles is he's connected to his family funeral home, Sproles Funeral Home. And so it's like he shows up with business cards in hand. Hey, in your trying time, think about Sproles Funeral Home. You know, very, very, very strange. Very strange. Not good. And like the Road Warrior said, you know, it was city. Another half mile, it would have been county. Sproles talks about the town marshals, but yet he drives a black unmarked Durango with a regular plate that is a 66 county. Most sheriffs has marked car with a plate like 33-1 sheriff's plate. Absolutely. The other issue is, oh boy, does not understand the law that what it takes to pull someone over in an unmarked vehicle. He just continues to have problems with that over and over and over and over and over. So, you know, it is very strange. Okay, now if we can, that's all what's happened here. Okay. Now, yeah, right. Absolutely. And there's starting to become a rift between the sheriff's department and the coroner's office because of that. It's like, you know, wait, we've got an elected coroner. We don't need the sheriff to be playing coroner. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's very strange. And this is what I was telling you guys all when I said, and I say this because I'm going to get into this a little bit later on in the show. I told everybody in 2022, in October of 2022, I said, do not elect John Sproles. He will hurt the law enforcement. He will hurt the elected officials, and he will hurt the citizens of Newcastle and Henry County. And he's done that. And he did that in about the first 8 months of being in office. All of this is just craziness after the fact. All right, if we can go ahead, Kate, and pull up the commissioners meeting from today, we'll go ahead and jump into this. I think that this would be a good time to go there. So here's the commissioners meeting. You can go ahead and jump it forward. Press play there. Press play real quick, and jump it to about the 5-minute mark.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve the minutes of the meeting.
Okay,
All those
jump
in
it to
favor
about the
signify by
10-minute
saying
mark.
aye.
Aye.
Have the commissioners had an opportunity to review the claim?
I'm guessing.
Okay, take it on to about 20.
That other than our non-essential employees, that it would.
To impact.
Okay, oh yeah. Okay, sorry. Take it on. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Oh yeah, keep on going. Further, further. Further, further. All right, back up a little bit. That's the guy we want to see. And now, okay, right here. Now blow this up big.
Okay. I'll keep this high level and pretty brief, but
Nope. The one on the end. Yep.
property and casualty update. Joel was able to file info with the Department of Insurance on what's transpired with travelers. They have 20 days legally to respond. It was filed on the 8th, so we should hear back from them by the end of the month. I mean, I had zero expectations that this meeting on the calendar we were going to have anything done given the time frame, but we've made a ton of progress. I think I can fairly confidently say that we're going to have insurance on March 1st. It just may be really ugly. So I don't know if you have other questions. You want to get into more details. I'll obviously keep you guys posted and have the next meeting on the calendar to hopefully have everything ironed out.
I guess the question I have is your estimation, how ugly is ugly?
I mean, I think we're going to have kind of two different program structures. We're going to have hopefully what's going to end up being a piecemealed with multiple carriers similar to what we have now. If we go that route, I think there's the law deductible is going to be at least 150. I mean, that's what it's going to be.
Pause this.
And that law premium is going to be probably more.
So pretty straight off the bat, they ask him when he come up there, can you give us an update about where we are with the insurance issue? Now, I want to say this, okay? I want to be really clear. Okay, in this room, basically the camera is pointing straight down at the commissioners and straight down at the back of Josh Estel here. All right, you see how the court banner that's right in front of Estel, the gate that kind of bends around. What's right in back behind there, okay, are pews. It looks like old church pews or court pews that bend and they go up back into like stadium seating. Okay, here's a picture from my angle. You see all the people sitting in front of me? Where I'm taking this, there's a couple guys here. There's a bald guy. There's a guy that's kind of losing his hair. There's all those people there. Now, pause this here real quick. The three people up at the table are the commissioners. The guy closest to us with the vest on, that is Steve Dellinger. And Steve Dellinger is the Middle District Commissioner. Bobby Plummer is the woman at the far end, and Bobby Plummer is the Southern District Commissioner, and then the Northern District Commissioner is the man in the middle. Now, the man in the middle, he's the president this year. They elected him president. That's Joel Wiley. Joel Wiley is a Sproles fan. All right, let's not get it twisted. He's a retired trooper. and he is a fan of John Sproles. He will do anything John Sproles wants. He will give John Sproles whatever he wants. So the two commissioners on the ends, Steve Dellinger and Bobby Plummer, they are up for election this year. Joel was just elected 2 years ago, so he's got 2 more years. He does not need, meaning Sproles does not need a candidate to beat both Steve and Bobby. All Sproles needs is to beat Steve and or Bobby. If he beats one of them, Henry County, listen to me. If Bobby or Dellinger are beat this coming May, you as a county, you're screwed. I cannot say it to you any clearer than that. Do not let those two commissioners that flank that desk get beat. You need to show up and show out, and you all need to vote. Republicans, Democrats, Libertarians, Independents, vote for Dellinger, vote for Bobby. I don't know if the Libertarians are going to put someone on the ballot. Don't screw around with them. Vote
I'd
for
be concerned
Dellinger.
about anybody the Libertarians might be putting on the ballot because their county chair is a Sproles boy.
Yeah, that's the thing. Who is?
Isn't that Morrell?
Is he still the county chair?
As far as I know.
Okay, he might be. I know they're real big in the party, so yeah, I don't know what will be going on, but I'm just saying those two people on the ends need to be voted in. Now, also look at this picture. You see the people sitting in front of that far window. The people sitting in front of that far window, they are some other. It's not Dillinger. It's Derringer. Dellinger. No, it's Dellinger. Steve Dellinger. Dellinger. But the people sitting in front of that window, they are some elected officials like the treasurer and the other people like that. Then the people up here right in the audience, they are other elected officials and department heads, okay? That's where everybody sits. So before the meeting, they're all like laughing and joking. All the people over there in the window, they're like yelling across at my people, and the people over here are all yelling and joking back over there. Everyone's talking and having a good time. They're all talking to the commissioners. Now show that other picture of Sproles. Look at Sproles all the way over. Now this picture doesn't do it justice because it looks much closer, but it's not. He is all the way across the room on the other end, sitting completely by himself. This man comes into this commissioner's room.
He's in the peanut gallery of the choir. I mean, look at him there. He's getting ready to sing.
He's getting ready to sing. Go tell it on a mountain. He's all alone. He comes in. He does not shake hands. He does not talk to anybody. He does not cut up with anybody. He doesn't come over there and trade war stories because he's an FNG. All right. He's a KD. He's a ketchup dick. He doesn't have any kind of war stories to trade with the EMS people or with the policemen that are there. He doesn't have any stories to tell with the coroner. He doesn't have any. He does not engage with his counterparts. He thinks he's better than everybody. He's sitting over there. He comes in and he stares straight ahead, just like that. He does that. And he looks at his notes, and then he puts his notes down, and he stares straight ahead. He does not make a noise. He does not laugh when everybody else laughs. He comes in there, and he's already getting himself mad. He's already worked up. He does not like being there. He does not think that he needs to talk to them about anything. He just comes in and he does this. I was told Sproles had approached a retired NCPD officer to run against Dellinger. Yes, he did. He did. And that we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that person in just a moment. And that is James David Cantrell. And we're going to talk about him in just a moment. He has plants all up and down the ballot. So I just want to point out, he's not like coming in there and talking to people. He's not coming in there and he hates everybody there. He thinks they're all beneath him. They're all below him. It's disgusting. And you know what? They all come in and they laugh at him. They think that he's a joke. They realize they're pissed off with him because he's ruining their county. Yes, the mayor 765. I did, and we'll get back to that in just a moment. Okay. Take that picture down and let's get back to Josh Estel here. $150,000 deductible.
I've got the initial $2 million, waiting on the excess 3. The initial 2 is around what we're paying now with the 150 for the law. The excess 3 won't be super expensive, but obviously, if you go back 6 years, we would be self-insuring every law claim we've ever had with a 150 deductible. So,
Brian.
The other program is going to be more of an all lines aggregate, almost like a.
Is that all the way up, Kate? I'm sure it is, but
where,
just thought I would ask.
All the lines.
I've got it up as
annual
loud as it
I
goes.
figured you did.
And we would buy insurance above that, and then we would fund, the initial amounts. I've got to review that proposal. I had a call at 10 o'clock this morning, so I didn't know this until about an hour ago. That proposal, as it stands now, is $150,000 all lines deductible for excluding law for liability, and then $300 law for the year. And we'd have to buy property insurance still on top of that. So
Did he say the law
I will have
liability is
that, I think, in the
300
next week or
deductible?
so, kind of iron
No.
it out, and,
Okay.
and we'll keep everyone posted on kind of where we are. But
Wait, go back to it. That's what Joey just says. Go back.
going to be what I think is going to be the driving.
All right, hold on.
Quote unquote ugly.
I'm sorry, I don't know where exactly it is.
I mean, I think we're going to have kind of two different program structures. We're going to have, hopefully, what's going to end up being a piecemealed with multiple carriers, similar to what we have now. If we go that route, I think the law deductible is going to be at least 150. I mean, that's what it's going to be. And that law premium is going to be probably more. I don't know by how much. I'm waiting on. I've got the initial $2 million, waiting on the excess 3. The initial 2 is around what we're paying now with the 150 for the law. The excess 3 won't be super expensive, but obviously, if you go back 6 years, we would be self-insuring every law claim we've ever had with a 150 deductible. So the other program is going to be more of an all lines aggregate, almost like a partially self-funded, kind of like we do on the health insurance, where
Here it comes.
all the lines would have one annual deductible that we would take, and we would buy insurance above that, and then we would fund, the initial amount. I've got to review that proposal. I had a call at 10 o'clock this morning, so I didn't know this until about an hour ago. That proposal, as it stands now, is $150,000 all lines deductible for excluding law for liability, and then $300 law for the year. And we'd have to buy property insurance still on top of that. So I will have that, I think, in the next week or so, kind of iron it out, and we'll keep everyone posted on kind of where we are.
So he said that there's one that where they'd have to piece everything together, and that would be like closer to 300. So that's just an option, but there's another one that he's doing that would be different than that, which would be closer to 150. It's going to be somewhere probably between 150,000 plus. Okay. So
And that's
going to be high. It's going to be crazy.
you dropped for a second. We missed about 5 words.
Okay, it's going to be somewhere between about 150,000 and more. I mean, it's not going to be good. It's going to be high. It's going to be bad for the people. It's going to be really bad for the people. And let me tell you, when he's saying this, Sproles was red. Sproles was looking straight forward. He would not look over anybody. And everybody in the audience was looking over at him. Everyone was staring directly at the fool. It was insane. Henry, I'm right there with you, brother. I hear it. Because the people down there are sick of him. They are sick of him.
But it's across the board. Every policy is 150,000 plus deductible.
I don't know. I don't know how that works. I don't know.
I would like to get some clarification.
Yeah. And they're trying to do that too. And I'm going to reach out to them. I'll reach out to them tomorrow, and I will get some clarification from them. And we're going to get into what happened today, because I was going to talk to them about this, but then we got into some craziness. If you guys think that you're losing your mind right now, keep watching. It gets so much crazier. And even after we get through with this part of John Sproles, it gets crazier. The Henry County stuff is big time today. When we get into the election stuff, you guys are going to lose your mind. All right? We're not even there yet. So go get your popcorn, go get your drinks, use the bathroom, but stay with us on this, because this is going to be pretty crazy. All right, hit play on this.
They do talk about this questions Ryan's asking too.
Yes, they do.
We are, but the deductible is going to be what I think is going to be the driving, quote unquote, ugly part of it.
So when you get this ironed out, so obviously March 1st is our when we need to have everything approved and signed, and our next meeting is the 28th. Does that give you enough time from the 28th to March 1st, or will we need to have a special meeting in order to go over this, get it
I think
approved?
she got February's only 29 days.
On these proposals,
Yeah, that's right.
that need us to do something with a little more lead time, I'm gonna let you guys know,
Okay.
and we'll deal with that accordingly. I guess I do still have 2 carriers, one that Bobby and I spent about 3 hours with at the jail a few weeks ago, who have not said no. That particular carrier has a meeting in Cincinnati today with their leadership team to discuss a final decision. So, I mean, I guess everything I'm saying, like, if a rabbit gets pulled out of a hat, maybe that's not where we're going to be, but statistically with what we have back so far, it's not good.
But we will have coverage, no matter what, we will
I
have
think we'll
coverage.
have coverage, yeah.
March 1st.
He didn't say no matter what. He said, I think.
He didn't say no matter what.
We will. I mean, we've got the All Lines aggregate.
You will have
program.
coverage, it
We're
just
going to have
doesn't-
coverage. It's
yeah.
just whether you consider you funding the first 4
It's just how bad it's going to be.
of claims
Having coverage, right.
Just as an aside, I mean, I am pretty involved in our industry organizations. And
Now
I know a
pause
lot of
this
people at the state
right
level
here. I want you guys to pay attention to what he's getting ready to say here. He goes on, I know it's a little low, so I want you guys to hear this. And please, please, all of you go back and check this out. YouTube, Henry County Commissioners meeting, 2/14/24 to be able to hear this. What he's getting ready to say here, I want you to listen to this very carefully. He says, I am very involved in our industry, and I talk to our legislators, and I talk to the Speaker of the House, and I talk to all of these people. And because what is getting ready to happen to us is very unheard of. And what he's saying here is what Sproles is doing to them does not happen. It doesn't happen in Indiana. It doesn't happen outside of Indiana. This is very, very unusual circumstances. So because of this, Josh Estel's doing what he should be doing. He is taking this to their industry, their standard. It's kind of like if you had a problem with the police, you'd go, you'd speak to their union or the people who represents and kind of like checks and balances on the insurance. So he's taking this issue back to this organization and saying, hey, this is really unheard of. Can you tell us if this is good? Now, you'll notice what he does not say. He doesn't say, I don't think that this should be happening. I think Sproles is in the okay. I think that all of these lawsuits are frivolous. I think Sproles should be able to do whatever crazy shit he wants to do anywhere. He's not saying any of that. He's also not saying that the insurance company thinks that he's okay or that these people, basically, Josh Estel is throwing a Hail Mary. Sproles has Estel up against the wall here. And Sproles has done everything dirty he could do. And Josh Estel is trying to throw out every play he can. And this is a Hail Mary. Because after he says this, when Sproles gets up, Sproles asks them to go back and explain this to him, and he makes a point with this, or attempts to, and it's completely stupid, and it just makes him more of an ass for doing it because he completely lost the point. All right, go ahead and hit play.
The House Majority Leader and the head of the Department of Insurance about the struggles that some schools and public sector accounts are having as tax-paying entities and what that means to taxpayers. So, I mean, we are working actively. I just told Corey before the meeting that in the 80s, when this happened a little bit like this, they established IPEP, which writes now 90% of the work comp because public sector entities couldn't get work comp. And then they established what's called the Indiana Insurance Political Subdivision Trust. That name's not right, it's something like that. And essentially, if a public entity couldn't get coverage, the state would have an actuarial firm underwrite that exposure. They would charge a premium, and the state would back those. And as fate would have it, in 2009, the last member left that. So in 2023, seeing it had been dormant for 15 years and they were having an annual contract with an actuary with what looked like probably in the insurance market a pretty useless thing going forward, 20 years of dormancy. They dissolved it in 2023. I mean, we likely, as it was written before, because we're going to have coverage, wouldn't have qualified. So the discussion right now, I think at the state level, and I think you'll see a bill introduced, is if they reestablish it, is there a qualification that is the terms are so terrible that it's not fair to the taxpayers, and we need to have some sort of public solution. So, we'll track where that goes. I mean, the unfortunate part about that is they're thinking probably it's a 6 to 8 month process to probably get that kind of ironed out. So probably doesn't help us in 2 weeks. But I'll keep you posted on that as I learn more, if it becomes applicable and something we need to take a look at.
Any other questions? Thank you, Josh.
One bit of good news I did get this morning, the monthly health insurance report, and we're still 18% below expected budget on that. So that's going well.
Good.
Yeah.
And that
Thank you.
renews in July.
That's a
as
good
well.
thing because he's going to need that 18% to stick
Yeah,
with
right.
the
You're going to need that
insurance.
18%.
Thank you.
Okay, now jump forward from here until Sproles is on, and I think it's quite a while. I'll be able to tell you. Okay, back up. Yeah, back up from there. It's about right at an hour. All right, right here.
Do we
Yeah,
have-
here we go, folks.
Here. The Sheriff's Department, Sheriff Sproles.
This is insane what he's getting ready to come up here and ask for.
Good morning.
Morning.
Quick question here for my clarification. What was the motion that was filed with the insurance company?
There was no motion.
I'm just, whatever, I didn't know whether there's a motion. What was the,
So the first thing he gets up and he asks them to reiterate what Josh Estel was talking about.
right? Hey, can you clarify this for me? Just
Oh, sure. That was just in suggestion to Josh, because a midterm cancellation is so odd, he thought that asking the Department of Insurance to review it wouldn't hurt anything. So essentially, that's what we've done, is made that request that the Department of Insurance review the midterm cancellation.
Gotcha. Is that because that an insurance company has to be able to show that there is real significant change in order, or real significant change in their exposure in order to be able to cancel midterm? Okay. So there is, at least we feel some reason that we would at least request that maybe the exposure may not be significant.
Sure. Yeah, just ask the Department of Insurance to review that.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay, all right. Several things here. I have got and I emailed, I believe you all would have this. I've got a National Business Furniture quote for a conference table and some chairs. We have a conference room in our new facility
Okay,
that doesn't have a
pause
conference
this.
table or conference chairs.
I'm afraid the volume is too low. I listened to this earlier and I was able to hear it pretty well, but I think what I'll have to do is I'll have to go through tomorrow and I'll have to boost the sound, and then I will have to replay it for you guys because it's a very struggle to hear.
Well, it works just fine, and I can hear it fine if I crank the volume all the way up. But then as soon as you start speaking,
I know that's the problem. Yeah, that's the problem. So
he goes from hearing, yeah, they're going to have to raise the deductibles to a ridiculous amount. Oh, by the way, I need new chairs.
yeah.
Sorry, you got to spend all that money, but here's more money I want.
Well, so I can kind of give the play-by-play, and then we can maybe listen to it tomorrow, or you guys can go listen to it on your own. But I want to, so keep that up here. But yeah, well, what Kate said is right. They just basically said, like, we're going to be screwed on the deductible. We're screwed on the insurance. And then Sproles comes in and says, well, hey, we've got a conference table at the jail. No, first thing he says is, at the jail, there's an area where the jailers, the corrections officers, I'll call you guys corrections officers when you guys don't sexually assault people and take pictures of them. Until then, I'll call you jailers. I know you guys don't like the term jailers, so I'll call you jailers until you deserve to be called corrections officers. How about that? Okay. So the jailers here, he basically says, we need new chairs for a couple jailers to be able to watch them. And basically the chairs are going to be like a big expensive, like $12,000, just crazy amount of money. And they basically start off and say, hey, do we need this? And Sproles immediately develops an attitude. He gets red in the face and he's like, oh, well, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to bring you chairs that cost less than the chairs I could buy. But if you don't want me to get these chairs, that's fine. I'll go buy the other chairs that are far much more expensive. Dude, they're just asking you a question, man. They're just asking you a question. All right. That's their job. Kind of like police. And I know Sproles doesn't know this, but when Sproles goes out and he watches real police do actual police work, okay, Sproles will see them ask questions and try to get to the bottom of things. All right. Well, that's what the commissioner's doing. That's their job, is to ask these questions. So they don't know. And when they see something on this that says, wait a minute, you want 24/7 chairs? What are 24/7 chairs? Well, they know basically what the situation is their dispatchers are in the chairs. It's kind of like a cop car. A cop car is driven basically, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. It's never parked. It's never out of it. Okay, we're not listening to it anymore. So you guys can.
The audience is saying you can go ahead and play it. Just when you need me to pause it, just kind of clap your hands so I know to pause.
The problem with that though is there's a little bit of delay. And so it really makes it hard to be able to do commentary and pause and talk. So instead of, I don't really know how to do that with the delay that we experience, the delay that I experience not being able to play the video, and the delay that they experience is the problem with that. If I was controlling the video, that would be something that would make sense. But because I'm not playing the video, what you're playing versus what I'm seeing versus what they're seeing are 3 different delays. Get it?
All right, guys. I tried. He's not.
If you guys want to listen to you can listen. I'm just saying, from my end, I can't hear it at all. If you guys can hear it and you want it played, we can do it. You guys decide. Do you want to hear what he says? If so, I can mute myself and we'll let him play until he's done, and then I'll talk. Do you guys want to hear him? Put 1s if you want to hear Sproles. Put 1 if you want to hear Sproul. Put 1. Give me a 1. Give me a 1. Put 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. 1 if you want to hear Sproles. See, look how long the delay is. All right, we're getting 1s. Okay, so, all right, here's what we'll do. Okay, because I don't need to hear him. I've already heard him. So, okay. Then
can you clap? Let me turn my volume all the way up, and can you clap? And I want to see if you deafen me with a clap when I've got it all the way up. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Go ahead. I can hear that, but you're not deafening me.
Okay. Well, there's no way you could have heard it. You see it. Okay. Go ahead.
Oh, I heard you.
That's weird. All right. Go ahead.
A little bit of a sound.
Okay.
All right. So you clap when you're ready to
okay.
pause this shit.
We'll do that.
All right, here we go.
And there's just several items, some desk for jail staff and some armed chairs for them to be able to better in the jail pod area. It's like they have a 360 view. We don't have any desk there for them to monitor, and they're supposed to be there. Somebody there all the time. So a couple crescent shaped desks and some chairs there. So that's a total of $12,870.18 for this furniture, and just requesting to get approval for that purchase.
So do we need the expensive 24/7 chairs? Or do they sit in them 24/7? I'm just asking, do we need the expensive 24/7 chairs?
I'm not.
The 18 24/7 chairs, like what they did for dispatch, because they're more expensive, they're heavier duty, because the dispatch did the 24/7 chairs Because that somebody is
They're supposed-
seating in them
they're-
for 24 hours a day,
they're-
7 days a
They're
week?
supposed to be there 24/7 monitoring that area.
So we don't have, so the jail staff just sits in the chairs 24/7? I'm just asking a question. I don't know.
Yeah, right. They're supposed to monitor that 24/7. So I was not even aware of I'll tell you why that I had them choose this chair. Because it was much less expensive than, the chairs we have in the training room. Those, they're like a mesh chair. I was shocked to find out that we paid almost $500 a chair for those. We bought about 80 of them. And so the reason I opted to go with a different chair was to save money. These are $379 and seemingly a much nicer chair.
Where would this money come from, Sheriff?
I would assume that it would come from the bond, which purchased the first round of furniture.
So we've not had these chairs up until this point, or?
So we haven't had chairs for the conference room because we don't have a conference table. And that would be 10 chairs, and we'd need another 8.
So do you need 10 of the 24/7 chairs in the conference room?
I guess
Again, I'm sorry, you said they were less expensive.
That's fine. I could buy
I apologize.
the more expensive ones if you want me to.
Also, because I hadn't had a chance, because all this didn't come till after 3 o'clock yesterday. I didn't get a chance to really go through it yet. I just kind of perused it. And I guess my first thought was we just bought all new furniture for a jail less than 2 years old. So I'm a little concerned that we're buying more furniture again.
Right. Well, we
So-
didn't buy a conference table for the conference room, so
And
I'm not
I
sure
understand that, and that's why I guess I was going to ask you, do you know why it wasn't done? Okay. And I do appreciate that these other chairs would be cheaper. I was just trying to figure out, have we done without them all this time as far as the ones that you were replacing that would be less than 2 years old?
why. They are in disrepair, some of them just 2 years old, so, and I think they were more expensive than this, so I'm not sure, how that, the quality was chosen there, but we bought about 80 chairs for about $500 that, are just not real durable.
And those are coming from the same company, or
Yes, correct.
are they giving you a better warranty on the chairs that you're purchasing now?
These particular chairs, there is a warranty, a replacement warranty, and I don't have that in front of me to tell you exactly what it is. But there are a couple of chairs that I'm going to discuss with them being replaced by warranty.
So the chairs that were purchased that are in disrepair right now, there is a warranty on them?
I'm not sure. I believe that there are, but I can't give you a specific on that.
Do you know when you would have that information, or that they would give it to you, or?
I could get that to you.
Almost like, would they apply that toward the purchase of new chairs if you decided not to have them warranty those chairs?
We could try to work something out like that.
So what are the commissioners' desire here?
So you're requesting this to come out of the bond? We're getting ready to start discussions of building the pod, and I hesitate to just keep taking money out of the bond when we're going to need that to build the pod. And you don't have it anywhere else in your budget to take it out of?
But it's pretty lean. I thought that was what that bond was for, is to outfit the new building.
I'm not, it is, yes, but I'm also saying that we're going to be building a new pod here soon. We're starting that discussion. I'm just making a statement that we're going to need that as well.
So, I mean, do we just leave the conference room undone and unuseful?
What would this conference room be used for, that
For
the training room would not be used?
For
How big is the conference room?
It is suited for a 10-foot conference table, which would seat 10.
And what would it be used for that you wouldn't use your training room for?
For conferences and meetings, that would be 10 or less people, because the training room is a lot of times tied up with a lot of people, and it's difficult when you've got a meeting of 6 or 7 people, and the training room is tied up, and then we don't really have an option there.
I guess I don't have an issue with you having the conference table and the chairs, and if you're getting the chairs cheaper than what we originally paid for the chairs, and that we can get warranty issues taken care of with those chairs, and that the other chairs that you're asking for that are wore out are actually cheaper than the chairs you originally purchased. I do have some of the same concerns Commissioner Plummer does, is I know that you're in desperate need of an addition to that with the population, which doesn't seem to decrease as much as we'd like, that we're going to have to add on to that. And to go back to the taxpayers to ask them to help fund that is a very sticky situation.
I don't want this $12,000 purchase to upend a $15 million addition.
Well, I hope it doesn't, but it's like everything else. When somebody comes to you and when you're ordering a new car and all the additions keep adding up, the base price seemed pretty good when you started out, but then when you get $50,000 worth of increases as we nickel and dime it, that I guess is the big concern. But yeah, I mean, if it's something that you desperately need, then I'm not opposed to it.
Is that a motion?
Well, I was out getting ready to ask if
I think you're probably good now to talk. No, you're not going to talk? You want
No,
me to
keep it going. Yeah, keep it going.
if there was any more discussion. If there isn't, then I would make that motion.
I have a motion. Is there a second?
I will second it.
A motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 3-0 for the $12,870.18 for the National Business Furniture.
And are you going to follow up with them about the warranty and see what adjustment can be done?
So this dollar figure could come down.
I'm sorry.
This dollar figure could come down. This
Okay,
dollar.
I'm sorry. I'm getting on again here. This figure could come down.
This
but yes.
dollar figure could come down. Okay.
So the next item that I have is the use of equipment fund within Henry County Sheriff's Office. I believe you all have that letter as well.
I'm just going to stay up here because
Keep it going.
keep going. Okay.
Well, this is the same letter that has been used for years, just approving the Sheriff's Office to use the commissary fund for miscellaneous items that relate to law enforcement and detention.
I think that just is a council thing, isn't it, Joel? I don't. This with the, yeah.
No, you're correct. You're correct. And I'm sorry. So
Yeah.
strike that from the
I
record.
thought so. I didn't think that we would do that.
Another item is a request to trade vehicles. We've got a letter there in front of you with a lot, actually 10 vehicles that many of which do not even run. We had negotiated with Fletcher Dodge, who we buy most of our new vehicles off of, they said they would give us $14,250 for these vehicles in trade-in price, and they will take care of hauling them out of here.
Do you have quotes for purchasing of new vehicles that these trade-ins will go against? So we see the individual, like, oh yeah, Braden's still here. The
So-
quote that he gave listed the vehicle with the trade-in.
Correct. So what we said, we ordered we was able to order one patrol vehicle this year with the money budgeted to us. So we've got that on order, and it would go against that.
So it's already been ordered.
Mhm. It won't come in for several months.
So are they purchasing them? Because I guess I don't understand, because typically when I trade in a vehicle, I take my vehicle, we do the deal, they give me the trade-in, I walk away with my vehicle, they keep my vehicle.
Right,
So
right.
you've already ordered it. I'm not sure how the trade-in works now, since you've already ordered it.
Well, we can't walk away with the new vehicle because it's not here yet. So when it gets here in 2 or 3 months, they would just take this off of the price. Or
Can you
not.
get an updated purchase agreement that shows these vehicles listed as trade-in on that vehicle?
We can. Mhm. So, I mean, there's no transaction that's been, we just simply made a phone call of ordering the vehicle. So there's no, it's a state price. There's no transaction. There's no signatures have been done. That happens when the vehicle comes in.
Okay, I guess I will make a motion to wait till the vehicles come in so we can see it on the purchase agreement, how if each vehicle is lined out with trade-in, what each one is done, just like we did with Braden.
That's fine. I mean, they're, you know, they're
And-
just sitting on our lots.
Yeah, they're sitting on our lot over here.
Well, not all of them.
Well, there's several that's sitting on our
Several
lot.
of them.
Yeah. Yes.
She's been trying to get what now? I'm not sure about the no response. I heard that line with some of these, when I talked about the auction list. Some of these have been on an auction list for 2 years, and I believe you said that you were waiting on a response from the chief deputy, which is not accurate, but I'll look into that.
So I will make the motion to table this until we get a purchase agreement with every item listed out as what the dollar figure is for a vehicle that'll go against the vehicle that you have ordered.
I would second that, just for clarification on paperwork where we're at.
Just know that when that vehicle comes in, you know, they may not give us the same, they're just sitting and deteriorating for more months. They obviously may not be apt to, at that time, give us the same amount.
Well, I hope you understand that we have a process that we have to follow. And if State Board of Accounts audits this and just says, where did it go? Where's the purchase agreement? What is, you know, there's procedures that we have to follow.
I am aware of that. I'm also aware that we've traded vehicles in the past many times that I would be very surprised if you all could produce documentation to know where they went.
And that's part of the problem. That's what we're trying to clean up. Because all vehicles throughout the county are supposed to come through the Board of Commissioners, period. And that's something that we've been trying to clean up. And that's why we needed all this documentation, because I don't particularly enjoy getting my hands smacked for something somebody else does. And so I would like for that to stop. So
And that's why that we produced this document for you.
and I appreciate the fact that you're doing that, but you say they're going to sit and deteriorate, but they're going to sit over there until your vehicle comes in before they're traded, because they're not coming to haul them off yet, are they?
They said they would come and get them immediately.
Well, if you can get them to put an agreement together with a dollar figure, and we can approve it and sign it, they can come and get it. But until there's any type of an agreement, we can't just release the vehicles.
I'll get that. So the next item is.
Okay, let's go ahead and A motion's been made and seconded. Is that correct?
Yep.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. So
What was
then,
the motion?
To wait until we get some sort of an agreement with the vehicles listed against the purchased vehicle.
Okay. The next item would be, and last item would be my contract. I highlighted, I sent it over with everything that had been changed from the 2023 contract, signed contract. And I just simply highlighted for ease of review, any item that's been changed.
I guess that's what happened.
I do have a question. Was it, or should this have been, because I had a conversation with one of the council members, because there was some confusion.
And Commissioner, I'm sorry, I missed the first part of what you said.
I said, I had a conversation with one of the council members, and I said, I guess I need some clarification. When, should this not have been done when your budget was turned in? For your contract to be renewed and updated in accordance with everybody else's? Because there was some discussion between the council and us on, since the budget has already been approved, this is going to alter the budget. So I guess I need clarification here.
Yeah, well, clarification is in state statute.
Mm-hmm.
The state statute requires the county to pay a certain amount. And I don't think that changes on what time you get a contract done. So the county is required to pay 70% of the prosecutor's salary due to our population size. And I want to clarify this. The state sets a range that is a minimum. The county must pay. It's not an option. It says the county must pay a minimum of 70%. So, could this have been done sooner? It could have been. However, 2023 was not done. My contract for 2023 was not done during budget session either.
I think what Commissioner Dellinger is referring to is, I believe it wasn't appropriated. It was the increase that was determined in July was not included in your budget.
It was discussed. It was discussed with council members, and so they were aware.
Right, but the budget is turned in by your office. They don't change it. Salary ordinances, yeah.
I guess that was my confusion, was to find out that there's something else that's going to alter what was approved. So I want to make sure I understand the legal obligation we have to pay, what amount we have to pay. I get that. I understand that.
And just while we're on that topic, the county has not paid the legal amount for the last 7 months.
And I'm assuming it's because nobody was aware that it was supposed to go up.
Yeah. There has to be a salary ordinance. You guys create the salary ordinance, you take it to the council approves it. They didn't get a salary ordinance, therefore it could not take place. Is why.
Okay, so they're not obligated to pay.
That's between the council and Joel. We're just talking about your contract.
There's a minimum that a sheriff is not to be paid if they don't have a contract.
Mm-hmm.
So most people, if they have a contract, are going to ask for at least that minimum. Why else would you ask for that?
Mm-hmm.
But in theory, a sheriff could say, I want to get paid $5,000 a year and sign a contract, and that would be perfectly legal. Now, I don't think anybody in the state has probably ever done that. Maybe if they're independently wealthy, and take the Powerball the same year.
Right.
Decide to do everybody a favor. Maybe that would happen, but that's what it is. Essentially,
Right.
contract terms. And by law, if you don't have a contract, you can retain certain fees as the sheriff for tax collections, provided the total compensation does not exceed what the full-time prosecutor.
Right. So there's just, those were the questions that were, that the salary ordinance wasn't done. Nobody's saying that it's not going to happen. And I mean, we're legally bound to do so. I had asked Joel what the procedure was, since they were going to have to, the council was going to have to potentially do an additional appropriation if it was, they had to do it first or we had to do it first, just as procedure. And he did say that we could make the motion contingent upon the council's approval. So, I will make the motion to approve the sheriff's contract.
Contingent.
Yes, thank you. That word went away from me. Contingent upon, my dementia sitting in, contingent upon council approving the additional appropriation and salary ordinance. So will they, I guess I do have a question. Will they have a salary ordinance today? Do they have a salary ordinance for their meeting today?
To my knowledge, sometimes the salary ordinance are created by you all.
No.
Okay, so let me just, while we're, let me, I want to say a couple of things. It's been interesting, and it's always interesting to me. I get up here, and I've been here forever. These poor people having to sit here and watch this just get, nitpicked to death. And the, the salary ordinance, I know because I've got some emails that said, just we'll take care of doing the salary ordinances. What do we do? Let me ask you this question. What do we do when you approve a yearly salary ordinance? It changes in July, the sheriff's salary. So we do a yearly salary ordinance for the first half of the year, and then do another yearly salary ordinance. Okay. So
I only handle writing our salary ordinances when something changes, so I don't know how that process works.
yeah, well, we can get a salary ordinance over.
But I guess that if it changes in July, it's from July to July, so you really only have to do a salary ordinance from July to July. If it changes you have to have one for the new year. Okay. See, and that's why I say I let them do it, because that's not my lane.
Can you all email a blank salary, or however, how do we get the form? Okay, okay, we'll get one over today.
Okay, we do have a motion on the floor,
I will second it.
and it's been seconded. Motion's been made and seconded to approve the sheriff's contract. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0.
I don't have anything else. Do you guys have any questions?
No.
Thank you, Sheriff.
So I'm going to make a motion to recess the commissioners' meeting. Do we have to do this public hearing? Is that a public hearing or just?
All right, here we go, people. All right, I just want to let you know to adjust your sound volumes. Listen, I've now sat through that twice, and that man, right, Audie, that man is insane. Yeah, he said he had nothing else. He said, I've got nothing else. I'm going to walk away. And he walks out of the building. Now, I don't blame the commissioners for voting to approve that pending the council's decision, because at the end of the day, they did not have a choice. They talked with their legal counsel, and essentially, here's what the case is. Essentially, this is what the deal is. The sheriff gets paid a percentage of the prosecutor, and the prosecutor and the sheriff get paid by the state. There is a small percentage of their pay that come from the county, both the prosecutor and the sheriff, and the judges, but they're on a different scale. And the sheriff gets a percentage of the prosecutor. So the prosecutor's pay went up, and the prosecutor put that in his budget last year. He knew it. He was aware of it. And that's what happened. And he knew to do that. The sheriff talked about this to the council, but he never did it. Now, the other issue here is the sheriff has, as we heard here, has stopped communicating with the auditor's office. All right. The auditor is an elected official. All right. The auditor is an elected official. The job of the auditor is to deal with the bills and paying things in and out. Okay. It's kind of like the controller in the city government. The other aspect of the auditor's job is the auditor is the secretary for the commissioners and the council. So they do some work with the commissioners and the council. They wouldn't normally just do the sheriff's salary ordinance. That's on the sheriff to do. And to take that, okay, yeah, well, that's number one. Number one is, as Yoko Joe said, he doesn't have to take that raise. Delaware County Sheriff Tony Skinner did not take the raise. Matter of fact, he specifically said, I'm not going to take the raise. I want to put it back into the county. He offered that day one of the budget process, day one of them dealing with him. Sheriff Sproles recently found out that he dropped the ball back last July, and now he wanted to make a big stink out of it. And he thinks that everyone else should be running around doing his work. Okay. What's funny about this is the fact that, he felt as if the commissioners should have typed up his salary ordinance or the auditor's office. Now, the auditor's office has been sending him emails asking for the mileage and the VIN numbers and the year and the make of his vehicles that he's trading off. And he will not get back to them. They just said today in the meeting, we have responded, we have messaged him, we have emailed him, and he will not respond. He will not respond. Sure, he has a secretary. Absolutely, he has a secretary. He has stopped responding to the auditor's office. The auditor said, if he's not going to talk with us, we're not going out of our way to deal with him. We're not doing extra for a man who will not do for himself and will not go out of his way to help us when everyone else should be. Now, I want to be very clear. The former sheriff of Henry County told him before he left, before McCorkle left office, I will help you if you need any help. I will help you. And the sheriff said, I'll let you know if I'll send smoke signals if I need help. I'll let you know, old timer, get on out of here. I'll send smoke signals your direction if I need help. So McCorkle said, fuck it. I'm out. I'm not going to help him. I'm not doing it. So out the door he goes. Okay. Now, he went to the council. We're not going to watch the council meeting because we do have to get into this election stuff. But he went to the council and they had some back and forth and they voted to go. They agreed to only go to January. So that's what they're doing. So it's not going all the way back. So the county got a little bit of a concession and he gave a little bit, which is like, hey, that's mighty white of you. You know, thank you, good guy. You know, you're being such a good guy here because, you know, you're doing for the county that you serve. You know, it's ridiculous. He's absolutely ridiculous. And his comment that he doesn't like coming here and getting his back to January. He doesn't like that he is getting nitpicked to death. Quit asking for things then, because that's how it rolls. I feel like Sproles thinks that he can just do whatever he wants. He also admitted that he ordered these cars several months ago. Well, we're only 6 weeks into this year. So he did that technically without having the proper authority, which I had heard and I made mention of, and they said, oh, no, that didn't happen. That didn't happen. Yoko, put Yoko's comment up there if you can. That's very important. Well, Catherine, what they did is they approved it pending what the council did. So they knew he was going to the council. He went to the council just like 3 hours later. So it was at 4 p.m. So they was pending what the council did. Okay. So the council did do that. And so everything happened. Now, Yoko says here, I heard the council's getting ready to raise taxes again because they are too scared to say no to Sproles. I'm hearing that from everybody. I'm hearing that from my sources in Henry County government. I'm hearing that from citizens tied to the government. I'm hearing that from just citizens in the know in Henry County. I am hearing that the council is getting ready under Susan Hoon and because Susan Hoon is a Sproles friend, and under Ken Gray being the president, that they are going to raise these taxes. I hope they don't, but we're hearing that. Okay, so then that meeting concluded. Sproles went on. Later, he went to the council and he talked there, and they went back and forth, and they did agree going back to January. So that's that. Okay, next up, and this is very important. Don't go anywhere from Henry County. Please stay here. This is very important. On Monday, I sent a records request. Oh yes, Jackie, absolutely. From people from Henry County and elsewhere, this is going to be insane. On Monday, I sent a records request to the Henry County Clerk's office asking that they gave me the campaign reports. Okay, the filing reports of their candidates. So candidates, basically, their list goes as follows. Here's their list. It's shorter, obviously, than Delaware County's. They have Brian Clark as the incumbent Republican coroner. He's running for re-election. William Palmer is a Republican running against him in the primary. Brian Clark is a good coroner. I have a good relationship with him. He's a good coroner. William Palmer is the Sproles plant. Okay, so if you're in Henry County, you want to re-elect Brian Clark, and you want to kick William Bill Palmer to the side, and we'll keep. I'll tell you why and how and what's going on. All right. Surveyor is Stephen Rust. He filed for re-election. He's the incumbent. Nobody filed against him. County Commissioner, Middle District. The incumbent is Steve Dellinger. Okay, he filed for re-election. Dave Cantrell filed to run against him. Dave Cantrell is the Sproles plant. We want to re-elect Dellinger. Dellinger's doing a hell of a good job. Dellinger was the guy in the vest. We do not want to elect Cantrell. Moving on, County Commissioner, Southern District. Bobby Plummer is the woman there. Her longtime friend, Susan Hoon, on the council, filed in the second to last day to run against her. Didn't notify her. From what I'm hearing, everybody's up in arms about this. The party's up in arms, citizens up in arms about this, okay? And Susan is challenging her on Sproles' behalf. Susan is the Sproles plant. Bobby Plummer and Steve Dellinger have both come a long way, and I respect them both as commissioners. Susan Hoon and Dave Cantrell both will be bad for Henry County. Do not elect either one of them. Do not elect either one of them. Okay? Then the county council. You have Kyle Allen. That's an incumbent. He's the only incumbent that's running in the at-large space. You have 3 at-large spaces. Next, you have Jay Davis, Scott Kuntz, Chad Malacote, Jonathan Phillips, Adam Thompson, and Clint Weaver. Okay? Kyle Allen and Jay Davis are both, in my mind, good. They're not Sproles people. I am hearing from sources that Chad Malacote is definitely a Sproles plant. Do not vote for Chad Malacote. I'm hearing that Scott Kuntz is a Sproles plant. And I am hearing, we don't know about Jonathan Phillips. Jonathan Phillips is kind of tied to that world, but I'm still waiting on the fallout. Well, Susan doesn't give up her council seat. No, she'll continue being counselor. She'll run for commissioner. If she wins, she would give it up. But if she loses, she just keeps being council member. I think that's a very dirty way to play. I think if Susan wanted to run for commissioner, she should have told Bobby long ago. She should not have ran for re-election to the council 2 years ago, and that should have been that way. She should not have ran and then got it and then is running now in the middle. That's not a good way to do it. Okay, that's not a good way to do it. I don't ever really respect that. When I walked into the clerk's office today, it was harder than what I would have liked to get the paperwork. I had issued a request to them, and I issued the same request I always do, of the lawful request, saying that I am writing a request and I'm asking to be able to inspect or make and obtain copies of the following records. Well, they shot me back an email telling me that I could come in and look at them, and if I wanted copies, they were 10 cents a copy. I'm thinking, okay, that's kind of weird. So I went in there today, and they had 1,000 questions. Okay, we didn't start off on the right foot. I'll say we started off very shaky, and I didn't really appreciate that they were asking 1,000 questions, because anybody could go in there and get them. I was told, they were at one point. The lady said, and I'm not going to name her because we ended up doing well, and I have no ill will. I'm going to come around. I'm going to walk around on this, so just stay with me. She said, the lady first said, what are you doing with all of these? And I said, well, I'm trying to save the county from itself. And I said, it was just weird. It was like she was giving me all of the third degree about why I wanted this. And I finally said, I don't have to be telling you any of this. I could come in and say, I'm John Doe and I want all that paperwork, and you would have to give it to me all the same. And she said, yeah. Well, she was kind of huffy, and I thought, all right, I'd had enough at that point. So I kind of wanted to stoke the fire just a bit. And I leaned down and I said, because I'm talking through a glass, so the glass is down here. I leaned down and I said, you would really lose your mind if I told you that I don't even live here. To which she turns around to me and says, I know, I was wondering why somebody from Muncie would want this. I looked down, I spun around, and I was like, well, I didn't know that I wore my Muncie shirt today. I kind of looked at her and I'm like, how did you know that I'm from Muncie? And she's like, oh, we looked you up. And I was like, you what? I didn't know that I was in the Sheriff's Department Annex. I thought I was in voters registration. she was like, well, I can look anybody up. And I'm like, okay, why? How? With what? Voters registration? You looked me up? Oh no, this person wasn't a fan at first. No. So we kind of got off on a not a very friendly not a very friendly kick. Now, the more it went on, I kind of cooled my jets from all this insanity. You know, I don't want to scare these people. I don't want to treat them bad. I don't want to be crazy with them. I want them to understand the law and to do the things that they're supposed to. Moreover, I don't want them to work harder than they need to work. They need to work smarter, not harder. They don't need to do a whole bunch of extra crap. Okay? If someone comes in and wants record requests, then you say, I want a record request, and I want all of the candidates running. They don't then need to ask 1,000 questions. Go pull the file, come through, put it in the tray, copy it off, take it, give it to me, voila. Problem averted, work done. You know, I just want them to know, if they want to be friendly, if they say, all right, we're getting right on it. By the way, do you mind if I ask what you're doing with all of these? I would have said, no, sure, I'll tell you. As you may or may not know, I am a political commentator, and I do political commentating and yada, 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 da, 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 da. Boop, 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 boop. And then we're friends and we're laughing and joking, and she's watching all my shows, and you know, it's wonderful. She's like, you know, hooking me up with her granddaughter, and everything's great. No issue, no problems. All right. No big deal. No big deal. But when they start off the bat saying, like, you know, I know your DNA molecules, I've sequenced your DNA. Why are you requesting this? I get a little, like, you know, clicky. And I'm like, no, don't do that. I feel like, I told her, I said, I want to apologize to you. I feel like if I didn't have such a strong constitution about me, and if I didn't feel so secure in what I'm doing, I might feel as though I'm doing something wrong. For example, if I'm just a John Doe walking in here and you start asking me these 1,000 questions, maybe I feel like I shouldn't be doing all of this and it's illegal. Okay? So that's also the other thing. Josh did it differently. Josh tried to beat it with a sledgehammer, doing the wrong thing. I've never had a problem carrying my phone into that building. What I do when I go by there is, and everybody should have the same ability. I agree. But when I go by there, I just show my ID. I have an ID that with all my stuff that says who I am. It says I'm a political commentator, and it's got my information on there. And I don't let them see it because it's none of their business. And I could make it up on my computer if I wanted. I'll show it to you guys coming up. I'll pull it out of the car and I'll show it to you. But I always say, hey, I'm here. Most of them know me anyways. I say, I'm here. I want to do business. And I need to take my phone in there. And they've never had a problem. I've taken my phone in and I've recorded election meetings. I've taken my phone in and I've recorded the clerk's office before. You know, I feel like when you go, that's another day for another fight for another day. I'll talk to you about that at a later time. I've got to get through all of this, but yeah, that's that. But today when my phone was dying when I left when my phone was dying when I left the commissioners meeting, and I wanted to plug it in so it would be up and running when I left in case I got pulled over again. And I also grabbed my wallet. And so I didn't take my wallet into the commissioners meeting with me. So I grabbed my wallet. So just out of like a weird habit, I put my phone up and charged it as I was walking in. And that's why I didn't have my phone. I wish I would have taken my phone because I would have recorded this. And I hate that. I wish I would have taken it, but alas, here we are. But I just told her, I said, the way that you ask those questions, it makes people feel like they're doing something wrong. And I think that she understood what I was coming from and where I was coming from. And so we got on pretty well after that. She ended up making me the rest of my paperwork and everything was good. Now, while I was standing there waiting to pay my $3.60 for my records, I also asked for a copy of this. This was the list of candidates. So I said, hey, I want a copy of this. And she said, oh, I'll go print you one off. I'm standing there and there's another employee from the clerk's office there. And I'm starting to go through these paperwork and I say, oh, that's not good. And they say, what? What's not good? And I said, well, there's an error on this document. It is you've got to pay for 10 cents a copy. There's some records you've got to pay for 10 cents a copy. And that's the other thing. When you're getting public records, they can only charge you for most records 10 cents a copy. Don't ever, ever, ever allow them or allow them to charge you more than that. 10 cents a copy for black and white. You're muted. You're muted.
A lot of them will try to charge $1 a page.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But they can charge 25 cents a page if it's colored.
If it's color. I've never, ever got a color copy.
Yeah.
So
but
10 cents.
For informational sake.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you need that IC code that says it's 10 cents a copy, I can get that to you. Okay. Yeah, I might go down there tomorrow and see that. A lot of places do. A lot of people are idiots. That it's kind of confusing in the IC code, but I'll get it. The public access counselor spells it out very easily. He's not running against Kenan Gray. Kenan Gray is not up. Wait a minute. Who are the at-large currently on the council? Kyle Allen, Betsy Mills, and
Harold Griffin,
Betsy Mills, and Kyle Allen. Kyle Allen is the only one that is running for re-election. Harold Griffin is not running, and Betsy is not running. So basically, Kyle Allen, Jay Davis, Scott Coons, Chad Malacote, Jonathan Phillips, Adam Thompson, and Clint Weaver are all running for 3 seats. So those 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 candidates running for 3 seats. The 3 highest seats get them. Kyle Allen does all right, in my opinion. Jay Davis is not a Sproles guy. I can tell you. I know he worked on the sheriff's department, and I know that he was there when some stuff happened, but he had some heart issues, and he's better now. But he is not a Sproles guy. Chad Malacote is a Sproles fan. Scott Kuntz is a Sproles fan. And from what I've heard, Jonathan Phillips, that is a reserve sheriff's deputy. I should have said, is he running against Kennan? Yeah, no, he's not running against Kennan. He is running against he and 6 other people are running for one of the 3. They're running for 3 at-large seats. Sorry about that. But from what I'm hearing, he's a Sproles plant. That's scary. If you know differently, maybe get a hold of me, let me know. But everything I'm hearing is he is a Sproles plant, designed to get Sproles more power, and to take off the good candidates. Well, here's the concerning thing. While I was in the clerk's office today and waiting for my this list to come back and waiting for my payment, I made the statement that there were several errors on several different documents. Now, until the filing period is over, I'm not going over who got errors on what. I'm just not going to say that. When I left there today, I got home and I noticed that there was something that I needed to call the clerk's office for. When I called the clerk's office, and asked for this document, one of the people in there said, "Hey, just FYI, we are fixing one of those forms that you were looking at." And I said, "What do you mean you're fixing one of those forms?" And the person said, we're filling in the things that weren't there. And I was like, "Oh, you can't do that." And the person was like, "Oh, well, we were just had a busy day and we just put it to the side." And I said, "No, you can't do that. If you're busy, if I'm a candidate and I take in my paperwork and they say, 'Hey, we're busy, just throw that over the side and we'll get you,' I'm going to say, 'No, I'm sorry. I'll stand here until you formally do this the right way and give me a copy of it done the right way. I will not leave here without this.'" And if a candidate leaves there without it, they're not doing their job. They're not taking personal responsibility. I do not do this. Now, let me tell you this. I made a mistake earlier this week. I think this is the second for the year. So it's kind of early. We're getting them out of the way early. Good to go. There was a candidate in Delaware County, okay? And he had a minor issue on one of his forms. In my opinion, it is not a big deal. I don't think that it's even challengeable from what I'm hearing. But he had a minor error. And I said, "Oh, well," and the reason I said this was I was going off the wording that was said in last year's election board meeting in Delaware County. And the wording that they stated was, "Well, you could come up here and fix this right now today." I said, "You ought to go see if you can amend it." And that candidate, and I'm not going to say who it was, that candidate went to the Delaware County Clerk's office, and the clerk said, "No, you cannot amend it. You cannot amend anything after Friday's deadline." And they came back, and I was like, "I don't think that's right," going off the words that they said in the clerk's office. Well, since then, I have called the Indiana Secretary of State's office, and I have absolutely, beyond all shadow of a doubt, spoken to several different people in the Secretary of State's office. 2 of them I will name because that's their role and that's what they're supposed to do. One of them is Matt Kochivar. He is an attorney for the Indiana Secretary of State's office. The other is Valerie Warchar, and she is also an attorney for the Secretary of State's office. One of them is a Democrat, one of them is a Republican. I called them and I said, "Let me give you this scenario. I am a citizen of Smith County, and I want to file to run for commissioner. If I go in and I file my Can 2, which is a document needed. Okay. And on the back side of my Can 2, I leave off the initials, which is a no-no. That's what Troy got kicked off the ballot for. And I turn that in. And, okay, I leave, and the deadline comes and passes at noon on Friday. Can I then go back in today on Valentine's Day and make an amendment to that paperwork? And both of the attorneys, Republican and Democrat, two different attorneys, said the exact same thing. Absolutely not. No, you may not. No, you cannot. As a candidate, there is nothing that you can do to make an amendment after the noon filing deadline, which ended last Friday. I said, okay, let me ask you this. Can the clerk's office call me and say, hey, you can come in and fill this paperwork out? And they said, no, absolutely not. The clerk's office should not be doing that. Now, one of them told me to do one thing to address this issue, and the other one told me to do something different. I'm not going to get into semantics on what one or the other said, but it's just suffice it to say, one of those attorneys told me to contact the directors of, there's two directors of the law, division of the election division of the Indiana Secretary of State's office, and to let them know that this was happening and that they would then get in contact. I don't want to do that because I don't want to get the Henry County Clerk's office in trouble. I like Jenny Grubbs. I think Jenny Grubbs is smart. I think she's a good clerk. And I don't think that she's doing anything purposefully illegal. I think that she may have not understood. I think that, look, I'm damned if I do and I'm damned if I don't on what I'm getting ready to say. I'm not thinking that I'm some big badass, but I know because I've done this long enough that I tend to make people nervous. I got in the elevator today going up to the commissioner's room, and an elected official from Henry County, I stepped in and he said, Mr. Bilbrey, I'm a big fan of yours. I watch your show. And I was like, okay, cool. That always makes me feel weird. I'm always very appreciative. If you're watching, shout out to you. He said, you know who I am, right? And I always hate when someone says that because it puts me in a bad spot because a lot of times I don't know. And I was like, no. And then he said, good. I'm flying under the radar. I'm probably in a better spot. If you don't know who I am, that's a good thing. He was like, you know everybody. And I was like, I apologize. And then he told me who he was, and I'm not gonna dime him out either. He was an elected official in Henry County. And he said, I watch your show. And he said, it's probably a good thing if you don't know who I am, I'm doing the right thing. And I said, well, let's see, I said, we'll have to find out now, kind of joking around. And we were joking and doing different stuff, and we had a good time, and he was nice. And he was very polite, but he made that kind of like joke, like, thank God you don't know who I am. Thank God you're not looking into me. So by saying that is, I know I make people nervous. So I know that when I went into the clerk's office today and I requested all of these, everybody's blood pressure goes up and everybody's heart rate goes up. They're thinking, oh crap, he's looking for stuff. He's going to talk bad about us. The candidates are like, oh my God, he's going to talk bad about us. Everyone starts going crazy. Listen, I am not a bad guy. I am not trying to purposefully cause anyone trouble. I want what's supposed to happen by law, by moral, by ethical standards to happen. I wish no harm on anybody. I'm not purposely trying to talk. Listen, Sproles is a bad apple. Sproles is a bad guy. He's a bad apple. He's not in a position he should be in. And, you know, he gets what he gets. Politics is a blood sport. Okay. It's a full contact, and he's in the political field. The moment that he resigns, or the moment that he's taken out of office, or the moment that he's beaten, I'll never talk about him again unless it's to reference something he did while in office. But I won't talk about him from that part. Talking about Sean Byram, the former mayor of Winchester. I used to battle him like crazy. I don't ever talk about Sean Byram anymore. He's off teaching school someplace, living his best life. He doesn't affect me as a public official. He doesn't affect other people. I've got nothing to say about him. I don't care what he's doing. I don't care who he's doing it to. I don't care who he's doing it with. And I don't care how much it's costing him. All right? He's not an elected official. I'm not trying to give the clerk's office a hard time, and I'm not trying to get them in trouble. I just want them to not mess anything up for themselves, and I don't want them to get any candidates in trouble. I have reason to believe that after I left the clerk's office, that someone there, I don't know who, attempted to start calling candidates to say, you need to come in and amend these things or fix these things. And all I am asking the clerk's office to do is the right thing now. I am asking them, anyone that came in and amended any of this paperwork, it's going to be hard, it's going to be tough. Don't make a big stink out of this. Don't tell anyone else. Don't tell any of the other candidates what you've done. Don't tell them how many people you've called or who's been in. Pick up the phone tomorrow morning. First and foremost, I'm going to say this. If this gets back to Jenny Grubbs, I like you as an elected official. I think that you guys are doing a great job. I have no ill will towards you. And I think that your heart was in the right place. I just want to help you. I want to help you guys be in compliance, and I want to make sure that the right thing is done. And I want our elections to be safe, secure, and fair. And I want the citizens to have the most amount of candidates to be able to choose from in a safe, free, and fair election. Period. That's all. I left my name and number for Jenny to call me back. Jenny, if you are watching, or you get this, or someone makes you aware, I'm specifically asking if there's someone out there that knows Jenny, get in contact with her and tell her, please call me tomorrow. I mean her no ill will. And the lady that was in her office that we got off on the wrong foot, we cleared all of that up. We cleared all of that up. And I really respect her, and we had a good time. And I appreciate all of them there. Everybody was a peach today. It is what it is. I'm an asshole sometimes. It's okay to fire back with me. I'm a big boy. I can take it. I have all of the paperwork before any amendments were made. Okay. I'm going to ask that Jenny please call me in the morning. My number is 765-546-9796. It is 765-546-9796. Call me in the morning. Let's talk about this. I'll tell you what the Secretary of State. I will give you the information. I will give you the information to who you need to talk to there. And of course, she knows who it is because she's the clerk. So she doesn't even need that from me. I'm nobody. Okay. Here's the thing. This is what needs to happen. Someone in the clerk's office, you need to get this paperwork back. Whoever, Harold Griffin's not running for council, and Betsy Mills is not running for council. I just got someone that texted me that privately. Harold Griffin's not running, and Betsy Mills is not running. Tomorrow morning, you guys need to go through, and whoever came in to amend this paperwork, you guys need to call them back. You need to call them back, and you need to tell them, hey, we made a mistake. We need to get rid of your amendments. The amendments do not stand, and your original paperwork stands. That's the paperwork that we're going to go off of. You need to call them that back, and that needs to be said, and that needs to be done. And they can come back in and get copies of the old paperwork. They can come back in and pick up the amendments, but the amended paperwork cannot stand. After that happens, I would like to come back and get copies of the paperwork, because I'm going to have to make sure that the paperwork all has to match this paperwork. I picked this up today at 1:30. Nothing can be amended after this paperwork. Okay. And so basically what's going to happen here is, like Eric said, this is going to be a very interesting test. I fully believe that the clerk's office is doing the right thing. I don't think that they're trying to do something wrong. There are places where this could be a bad thing. But I was even wrong earlier in the week. I made the same mistake. So I'm not busting anybody's balls. I'm just saying, now that we know that it's wrong, and while, Jenny, don't take my word for it, call the Indiana Secretary of State's office. I know you've got contacts there. Call Matt Kochevar. Call Valerie Warchek. When you call there, all you need to do is you need to press the number 4, and then you need to press the number 1 for Matt Kochevar, or press the number 2 for Valerie Warchal. And you can take care of all of this. But I hope that this gets taken care of. So that is something that happened today. It's kind of a cluster. And then we'll see what goes on from here. I don't know if there will be candidates challenged or not, but no one can have an extra special leg up that someone else doesn't have. So that's very, very important. Okay. We did not get to the City of Muncie stuff tonight. We've been talking for over 2 hours and 23 minutes. We will do the Muncie stuff tomorrow. I am so sorry. We will do Muncie starting off tomorrow. I'll look at the Board of Works meeting tonight. I don't know, maybe something didn't happen. It did. There's some stuff I'm watching there. If there's anything crazy, I'll let you guys know. If it's a regular 5-minute meeting and it just goes, maybe we won't watch it. I'll let you guys know. But I just wanted to bring this to your all's attention. The sheriff in Henry County is a psychopath. This stuff is kind of crazy. Hopefully it turns out the right way. The people asking if this is going to hurt the Sproles plants, it's certainly not going to help them. It's not going to hurt them. We'll see what happens. Right now, it's just making the election fair. That's the only thing. To wrap up, my grandmother is doing fine. She has a doctor's appointment on the 20th, and it looks like she has a possible come home period, either the 20th or maybe the 24th. So very, very soon, I'll be back to the studio, and we'll see what happens. Have you received your paperwork from everywhere that you requested as far as candidates? Everywhere except Madison County. And I will be going to Madison County first thing in the morning, and we'll be making sure that we get our paperwork there, and I'll keep you guys square about what's going on. So I will tell her, hi, Audie. We will get that paperwork, and I will let you guys know tomorrow evening the results of what happened here, plus what goes on in Madison County. We've been through Delaware County. We've done Henry County. Going to Madison County. Now, once the period ends and I can talk about the fallout of everything, that's going to be a big show. So you guys are going to want to tune in. Listen, don't go anywhere. Just watch this stuff every night. It's going to make you smarter. It's going to make you better. All right. You guys take care of yourselves. God bless each and every one of you. We will see you back here tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern. Take care. Have a good evening. God bless each and every one of you. Goodbye.
You're doing the video.
Yeah, I will. And they are going to give it to me. Oh, they'll give it to me, all right. They will give it to me. We'll have enough time to challenge them if we need to. I know, me too. I was just thinking about that today. Eric.
Is the fern going to survive?
Yeah. I haven't watered it in 3 years. Fern Shelby. Hopefully it'll survive.
How does that thing survive in the basement with no water and no light, man?
You know, it wouldn't normally if it was a regular basement, but it's an upstairs, downstairs basement.
Oh, that's right.
That's the way. Goodbye!